Hello, welcome back everyone. We are at war with the Yor. Peace is so fleeting. That is all I have to say on that. Although, to be fair, I was the one who started both the wars, so maybe it's my own fault I can't get some peace and quiet around here. Nonetheless, it is becoming to my attention there that my territory is going to continue to explode even more crazily. And the one thing I have been lacking in, mostly because I had a movement benefit for the majority of this campaign so far, is I lack a kind of response ship there, or a ship that can basically just respond quickly to wherever there are any insurgents or incursions in my territory, for whatever the future may bring. And with that, I'm going to build myself a brand new ship. I think I'm going to make a small type class ship there and have it emphasize on its mobility and being all around brutal in damage. I may not do so much in the armor portion of it, it remains to be seen, but most importantly it needs to be fast and needs to have the damage potential to help kill the targets, especially since there are likely going to be some fragmented ships or scattered ships that are in the region there and that could basically support them. So, let's get started, shall we? Like I said, I am going to plan on making a small ship there. I don't know if I want to make another medium one because I already got a good number of medium ships, quite frankly. And I am sort of lacking on small ships that I want to use. And I already have a swarmer basically for essentially the same kind of purpose. The only difference is they value more raw numbers there rather than their mobility. This one is going to help the swarmers a little bit by being able to kind of reinforce the numbers by being able to get there rapidly. So that's the intention. First off, we gotta have ourselves like a rough idea of what I want the superstructure I want to be. Well, it helps if I get the damn parts shown. There we go, much better. So, I think what I want to start with, maybe, is I'm kind of interested if I can use these wings as kind of like a starting point. Mind you, they're not necessarily much of a superstructure, but when I start whoops, I didn't want to double click there, but if I can get these the kind of shape I want, maybe I can work from there. Like this, it doesn't hardly look like a wing, but it does look like some kind of like antenna or bug-like antennas maybe? Yeah, that's what I was thinking there. And then we can work from there, so just for the time being I am going to reduce the scaling a bit to kind of make it more flatter for the time being. Just so I have a little more flexibility. It does look weird sideways though. It kind of looks weird from looking at it directly above too, so maybe I'll stick with 100 for now. Or actually I'll stick at 75 and then we'll work from there. That's a little bit better. Now, superstructure. I could easily put like a circular superstructure in, and that would fit the curvature well. I just don't know if I want just one piece or if I want something different. And make it like two pieces, two components. That's something I will need to experiment a little bit here. Oops. And I moved the x-axis, which I did not want. So let's adjust the scaling. Preferably I want to just make it wider. I don't care about the height so much. Let's see. I haven't decided how long I want this to be. But right there should be about good maybe. It's decent for a start. I just again don't know if I want make multiple components, because really this component would look better. Let's try that quickly. See if that's any better. No. Question is, do I flip it around or not? Probably would look better flipped around maybe, because it does have that kind of symmetry to it. Compared to the wings, I just gotta get the right placement for it. And proportional scaling, I think, is going to be consistent with how everything else is. We're going to flatten it and move into place. What kind of place do we want it to be? Just wider, maybe? Do we just want it to be wider? That's kind of getting a little too wide, almost. It feels like, anyway. Especially since I have a set axis to move to. And otherwise, this will need more components. I'm not going to do it just single piece, so I just don't know if I want this or the regular superstructure. Because the thing with this, it kind of allows me to cut a little bit of corners because it already has a bottom half. So that alone just tells me I probably shouldn't go with the other superstructure point. Which means now we need to add something underneath it. What can I do to help with that? This component could do it. It's going to be interesting how it's going to look when I do get that fitted in properly. I don't know if it's going to be to my liking, especially when I adjust the height there when I don't want to. So let's just scaling. It fits decently. It's kind of looks really big though. Surprisingly big, and of course there is a bit of discrepancy there I'm not fond of. And of course it seems kind of weird that way. Maybe it's better to flip it this way? Not exactly, because it doesn't seem flush with that. That makes it way too large. It seems like if I were to, or rather this piece is way too big, and I dislike shrinking it because that I don't think helps a whole lot. That looks weird for the texturing. I like the shape though. It's the textures I'm not happy with. That's my big gripe with it so far. Now, is there any way I can fill this out in some form? What kind of pieces do I have to work with here? Because it does not seem to be a whole lot here. That seems ideal. That's just a block, don't care for that. We got details, we got this cargo kind of container here, regular box, It almost seems like I need some kind of another superstructure point. Which means I'm gonna have to get creative on filling this section out. Because this has potential. So, how do I make that work? I don't know, to be perfectly honest. One thing I'm going to try is see if this back piece for this cockpit could actually fit in there decently. Maybe fill out there, although I'm going to have to make it a lot smaller. A lot more smaller to my liking, which I don't know how I feel about that. It is getting long. A length, I think there it's getting to a length I like. It's just a matter of finding out how to fill this out. That's my big concern. And will it look too weird and awkward when I do fix it out? Because that's going to be an awkward face piece. Maybe I don't need that back piece. I could just fill out back like this. That helps a little bit, but not perfectly. What happens if I move it upwards and then fill it out that way? It's going to be awkwardly wide. It seems like it's kind of looking more like a cruiser, I have to say. Even though there's only 4 pieces in it, it looks like it's more of a cruiser. Not really liking that feel too much. Let me see, if I move these wings around, does that help with the feel a little bit? Those antennas are kind of cool though, I like them. And, this thing looks interesting. Again, a cruiser, which I may not be fond of. Because after all, since this thing is going to emphasize speed, it needs to look a lot smaller. That's my original or current thoughts on this thing. So what happens if I shrink everything down then besides the wing? Because really it's just that cockpit piece that did it. Can I shrink things down? And would that help? Let's find out, shall we? There, that's looking a lot better so far. That is looking a lot better. Now the tricky part is figuring out the right length, the scale here. Since everything's got a completely different scale value. I'm almost tempted about not making this so long and instead have something in the back. Would that be good? Or do I instead put this further in back and leave that gap? There's another thing to test out, although scaling now is looking a bit awkward. Because now I have to shrink this forward, which means it may not fit as flushly as I would like there in the back. Let's try that though. Yeah, now it's really narrow. That's what I was concerned with. Metal's starting to mix up a little bit there. There, that helps fix that, but that fixed the cruiser or the look problem there a good fair amount. Now I just gotta figure out what to do with the bottom there to make it look good. I do like the incorporation of that little piece here, the curvature. How do I make it work? How could I make that work? Because we got a circular piece here with an odd end. First off, it helps if I find a good connection point for it. And the question is, do I want to turn it around or not? And if so, will that be to my liking? Actually, let me just do a regular scale for now. It has a bunch of lighting there, that's my first concern. That's the first thing I don't like about it, is all the lighting on that thing. Now, turn it around or not, or this looks like it might be better, if I were to be honest. How does it look so far? Not a perfect fit, but proportional scaling can fix that. That's a little bit maybe. I'm actually not sure if it will or not. Not the best anyway. And it still comes down to how to fill that out. I could probably put another piece on the side to get rid of the light, because it looks like this is going to need a bit more work to fill out. Let me try shrinking it then. And that will give me a little bit better of a curve. And maybe I can use this for like a weapon slot of some sort. Only thing, now it doesn't look flush down below. So I'll have to be... And that thick metal there is bad too, I don't like it. So what happens if I back it up or move it forward? Back it up to the point where the metal's not there and there's that weird discrepancy. I'll try the scaling to fix that to an extent, but again the same problems before. I need to fill it out. So it doesn't really solve the problem on its own single-handedly, but it's progress. And then I just get like maybe just curved shelling there. That way that middle piece is exposed and you can still see it. Maybe that's what I'll try. What kind of shell would be good? Because we got a couple options here. The question is, how much lighting do they have? Although not nearly as much lighting, it's still lighting, so I need to be mindful of that. Because with the lights done the wrong way, it artificially makes the ship look bigger, probably. Because how I see them, they're like crew quarters or other things like that. Lighting, of course, in general, it could be, but of course, these strike me as like crew quarters almost, which is ironic considering this is supposed to be a shell piece and not superstructure, so I don't know how exactly that Now, this curvature is weird for the shell, and flipping around doesn't help me any. So maybe this is not the piece I want. What kind of scaling can I try before I make that decision though? Because it kind of needs to be wide. Because it's not long enough to actually connect to the top half, so maybe not. Maybe not. That shell there is just as bad. This piece there has a lot of lights. This piece has more lights. I don't know what to make of this shell. I know I managed to do something cool there with the horn before, but can I do that again with that? I don't think I can. This one though has interesting curve to it. I don't think I can use it. I don't think I can use it though, because it's not going to fit perfectly with the curve of that back piece. Oops, and I'm moving things needlessly, so I guess the only thing I can do is just try and see what works. We'll scale it down, and first thing I'm going to attempt to is to rotate it to see if I can get kind of consistent with that curve, and then work from there. There's going to be a lot of holes with this though. But it covers out the lights. I'll need proportional scales and not ruin the tail or bottom portion there. And hope that does enough. That does not look very good with that bottom. That's all I have to say on that. Among other things. So, can I fix that in a way? Is it possible? I can fill a portion of it, but that still doesn't solve what I want. Because, yeah, if anything, I want to probably rotate more almost. That's what I'm feeling. Because the inverted scaling kind of ruins it. This is going to be tricky to fill out. We gotta start here, but as I scale out though, it's not going to cover everything, so I need to be mindful of that. First thing, get rid of the said scaling almost. That's what I think I want to do. Oh, this is annoying. I got two rotations that are on the same axis, so this is going to be annoying to fix. Because I don't know if this... I can't quite remember what I want it now. Which is the problem here. Because I just want to rotate something. Oh well, let me try it again. Pull out there. It is yeah, what I want to rotate was like that bottom. But of course it's not letting me. So let's try this again. So I want to twist in just a tiny bit, see if that helps. It's not bad. It still doesn't solve my problem just yet though, but I think it's a start. I just gotta get the placement fixed up a little bit more without ruining everything like I just did. Maybe I need to rotate a little more. Let's try this again, shall we? See if we have better luck or not. Yeah, the more I rotate, the less there is going down the lengths, which is annoying to say the least. Not a whole lot I could do about that, I think, though. It looks good, though. The kind of the interconnecting type of components, but maybe I can work with this still. Only issue still is just filling out this bottom portion before we can continue on, because I still need to put engines on here. Need to fill out some superstructure in the back. Maybe that's what should I work on next, is the superstructure, or the engine. Try and figure out how I want to fill this out. Since this is speed based, I want potent engines, so... And by potent, do I want multi-thruster type engines or just singular ones? Probably the single circular ones. I like the thoughts of them being used. I just don't know how it will look. So let's put them in, shall we? Preferably where they're not as such an eyesore. So we'll drop that in half, readjust it again. Because clearly I'm going to need more than just these two engines, I think it's safe to say. Because I don't think these two engines are actually connecting anything, are they? Nope. But I can rotate them and set them up for something else to connect to. Question is, do I connect it like this? Or not? Or just rotate that point up top? That's potential there too. I think it needs to be a bit longer though. Only thing I dislike. I still haven't answered my question if how I want the rotation to look as far as the connection point. Do I want it rotate like this? Do I even rotate downward? And an even better question, do I actually... Well, I think I already decided I don't want to move it up anymore because the wing is going to get in the way of like propulsion of some sort. Whoa, what the hell's going on with my camera? I'm having troubles with this. I do like the placement though, but we need more engines. We need one more engine. I feel like there needs to be something in the middle there. This would be a good point to put in a multi-thruster. So my question is making it fit? Well, that's the problem, not the question. Because it's going to be easy to fit, I think. It just needs a scaling for it now. Scaling and proper placement. Hell, if I really need to, I could just make like doubles rotating sideways, and that would probably solve my issue as well. Not interesting piece there. It doesn't look too much of an eyesore. Aside for a little bit of overlap in the metal there. That's the only issue I have, is just the bottom portion of metal. So if I do like that, that's not bad. I like it. Maybe change scaling a tiny bit so that way it looks consistent with the metal there, the piece in front of it. I just dislike that metal there, kind of like going through that and then connecting to the engine. That's the only thing I dislike. And of course there's like a blank spot here for the metal too, which I dislike, so that's another problem. It looks interesting. It doesn't hurt the bulbous figure of it too much. And actually, it feels like it connects really well with this bottom piece. Heck, just enough of the lighting from the bottom tail, whatever the hell you want to call that. It's just peeking out there and it looks good, if I do say so. There are a few texture issues I see though. Otherwise, is that coming from the engine though? Yeah, it is coming from the engine, so I made it too big is what that tells me. That's... Whoops. How the hell... Oh, I accidentally deleted. Well, that was a bit of a setback. Just a tiny bit. Hell, there's another thought I just thought of. Maybe what happens if I put upside down instead? Would that help at all or not? Although that bottom piece is gonna look even weird because of how flat it seems. I would need to put something on top of it, like a shell or something, to help fix that. There's still that metal protruding out, which I dislike a little bit. How does the bottom look? It's not bad. Not bad. Bit of metal though, again, there too. I could see it working on the top portion though. I don't know about the bottom. Whoops. This is a tough choice. I think I liked it better with it flipped upright properly and then position it. But I see this can work with a little bit extra work. Extra components put on top though, to be perfectly honest. Which means I'm gonna have to put a shell on it. Is there a simple shell I can put on though that's to my liking? Because preferably one without the damn lighting that I dislike. That would be a good start. So this is in place. I'll have to figure out my scaling and positioning now. Because if I can get this covering over nicely in an almost seamless way, I'm good. Oh, and it's rotated in our way, so I need to fix that. Let us do that, shall we? Although, now I need to make it smaller. Kind of need, actually, I need it wide, don't I? Which way do I want this thing? I almost think I want it this way. And then just put it in proper place. Will that give me what I want, though? Almost. I think it could almost do it. I'm just not sure what result I'm looking for, though. Basically, think, now when I think about it, it's a similar look to how that bottom of that engine looks. With a little bit of an extra layer covering over the engine, so it doesn't look flat as it does without that piece. I think that's really all I want. Can I make it look good? That is the question here. If I can get this more flush in, maybe I can. I think that could do it. I just need to scale appropriately now. Scale appropriately is going to be a little bit difficult, I think. Can I move it in? Would that help? Not really. It's a bit of an eyesore. It's probably because of how much I'm rotating it, so... I think I know what I need to do. We're going to shrink the Y to ridiculous levels. And try this again. Maybe it's a little bit too small now. And when I rotate it... Maybe I was wrong. I don't know what I'm trying for, to be honest. I honestly don't know what I'm trying for here. Really, I just want this tip here to connect with that metal frame is all I want. Is there any way I can manipulate that? Besides for winding it, that seems to be the only thing in moving up and down with this head. That's the only thing I see. Doesn't look like there's anything I can do aside from rotation to pull that component back some. The problem with that is the more I narrow it, the more it sinks into that engine. So maybe it's not going to work.